First News with Keeler in the morning on WIBX and WIBX950.com.
Hey guys, time to get in on the action for the biggest moments in basketball with Prize Picks, America's #1 fantasy sports app. Just select 2 or more players, pick more or less on their projections, place your entry, and win up to 100 times your money. Right now, Prize Picks will match your first deposit of up to $100. Just download the Prize Picks app and use the code GET100. That's code GET100 on Prize Picks for a first deposit match of up to $100. Prize Picks. Pick more. Pick less. It's that easy.
John Decker is the chief White House correspondent with Gray TV, and he's on the line right now. John, good morning.
Good morning to you. Hope you're doing well today, Dave.
We're doing well. We're doing well.
Unfortunately, I called you Dave, and I'm very sorry. You know how these things happen.
That's all right,
Bill.
Tom.
I apologize. I've done this before once in a while, but when you do 20 of these a day,
I was just going to say,
happens.
you're going.
I apologize.
You're going from show to show. It's like the concert. It's like that concert commercial for Visa, and he's like, "Hello, Cleveland. You're in Denver."
Exactly. Anyway, it's great to
I missed
be
when
with
he called you. I forget.
Thank you, Bill.
Let's move on.
With you.
Okay.
Let's
listen. I wanted to go, and I know we were just talking to Ryan Nobles from CNN. On the backside of this, but this is something that I think is being talked about, but not all that much. The billions of dollars we just invested in the Taliban military, because that's really what all that military that we gave to Afghanistan, all the supplies,
trucks,
all the weapons,
everything.
all of that
Helicopters, tanks.
is now where in the hands of the Taliban.
You're absolutely right. So you're talking about U.S.-made M4 carbines and M16 rifles. They're now in the possession of the Taliban because they've been seized from the Afghan military. The Afghan military, as you know, didn't even really put up any type of fight. They just laid down their weapons. And now you're talking about billions of dollars of U.S. weapons, as you mentioned, now in the hands of the Taliban.
Yeah, it's that becomes a real problem. It's funny. Now, what about the fact that the Afghanis we gave them basically an Air Force? What happened to that Air Force? Does that exist, or did we think about that before we allowed them to take over?
Yeah, the Air Force, lauded by President Biden back in July, just a few weeks ago, they didn't do much in terms of trying to protect the country, and in terms of the Taliban. We saw what the Taliban did. Took over every province in the country in just a matter of 11 days. And, that puts the military leaders in a very uncomfortable position because they told the president that Afghanistan was going to fall very quickly. And now they have to fall in line. They have to fall in line behind the commander-in-chief. And that's what we saw yesterday take place when both the defense secretary and also the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Mark Milley, took questions from the press. You could tell they were in a very uncomfortable position.
Yeah. I want to switch gears just quickly before we let you go, and that is the mask issue in schools. I think it's the dumbest thing in the world, and in some of these states, South Carolina, Texas, Florida, there are others, where governors have made it against the law for schools to require masks. Stupid. On the other hand, I kind of feel like Biden asking the education secretary to take action against these governors is also pretty stupid. Where's this going to go?
I don't know. That's exactly what's happened. You're talking about specific governors, Republican governors, Ron DeSantis, Greg Abbott of Texas, Doug Ducey of Arizona. They are among those governors who threatened to withhold funding from districts or take other action against those districts if they defy their orders. But now the federal government's getting involved, as you just mentioned, with these threats, these letters to those governors that have been sent by the Secretary of Education. And so we're going to see after that obviously plays itself out. I don't think that those letters, that's all they are just letters that have been sent, will in any way influence the actions of these various governors in Arizona, Florida, Iowa, Oklahoma, South Carolina, Tennessee, Texas, and Utah, who've issued these types of orders over the course of the past few weeks.
As I said, I don't like those orders. Schools, each individual community should be able to make the orders that they feel are fit for their community based on safety. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, the federal government needs to stay out of the state's business.
That's right.
You hear that often, so I think everybody's in the wrong.
Well, you're absolutely right about that. I feel as if those letters, which were sent to those governors, were really ticking a political box more than anything else.
Yeah,
I don't know if the federal government and the education department is going to follow through with those threats. And to me, that just makes it even messier if you do follow through with those threats. So we'll have to wait and see. And meanwhile, as you know, all across the country, schools are reopening. And, the only good part in all of this, of course, is that most schools all across the country are doing in-person instruction as opposed to Zoom. So that's a good thing. Now the issue isn't so much, whether they're going to have in-person instruction. The issue for so many schools is, okay, are masks going to be required when those students go back to school?
Okay, and then finally, the issue of there's so much going on with Afghanistan. What about our allies? What about those in Afghanistan? Did we surprise the allies? I keep hearing this story that many of our allies had no idea that this was going to happen so quickly.
Well, I don't know about that because I don't speak to those individuals all that often, those diplomats all that often. But having said that, I'm not surprised that Afghanistan has fallen that quickly. And the Biden White House shouldn't be all that surprised either. They were warned about this from reports coming from intelligence agencies and senior leaders in the U.S. military. They shouldn't be surprised by this either. Well, one quick point to bring out, President Biden back in July said that the fall of Afghanistan to the Taliban and a Taliban takeover of Afghanistan wasn't inevitable. Today, in an interview with George Stephanopoulos of ABC News, he completely disagreed with what he said back in July. He said it was going to be inevitable. I just didn't believe it would happen this quickly. So that's a point that I think needs to be brought out. A lot of criticism coming not only from Republicans in terms of what we've seen take place over the past week or so, but also from Democrats, which is pretty interesting. One final thing, because I remember what we were talking about last week. Look what a difference a week makes. Mm-hmm. Last week we were talking about Andrew Cuomo, right? We were talking about Andrew Cuomo. Yeah. I think if he held on for one more week and didn't resign, he'd still be the governor of New York, and the issue would move past everything because everyone's talking about it.
We'd be talking about this. Very interesting. All right, great note there, John. We appreciate it. We'll do it again next week.
I look forward to it. Again, Bill, thank you so much. Okay. Always great to be on your show. I apologize. Have a great day and a great weekend. We'll talk next week for sure.
You do the same. Thanks so much, John.
Hey guys, time to get in on the action for the biggest moments in basketball with PrizePicks, America's #1 fantasy sports app. Just select 2 or more players, pick more or less on their projections, place your entry, and win up to 100 times your money. Right now, PrizePicks will match your first deposit of up to $100. Just download the PrizePicks app and use the code GET100. That's code GET100 on PrizePicks for a first deposit match of up to $100. PrizePicks. Pick more. Pick less. It's that easy.